Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the newspaper review segment right here on TVC Breakfast. My name is Nelson Eta, and again, I have two of my gentlemen joining me to do business on this. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Is it oil business or?
You wish. It's a corporate world's business, you know. Business. And with that, let's get straight to the first business, which would be the Nation newspaper. And we're beginning in politics. We see right here, Tinubu to Fubara comply fully with the Supreme Court verdict. Yesterday, the governor of Rivers State himself had said that he will fully comply with the verdict of the Supreme Court, and that that's Governor Fubara himself, and that it wasn't about himself, but about Rivers State. But then he made a statement that was quite submissive, in my opinion. He said that for what has happened for this period, the monies that has been spent on either sides would have been monies used to better the lives of citizens of River State. I'm glad the governor recognizes that, but I'm surprised it's now coming a little bit late in a way. What do you think about this?
Absolutely. It's an afterthought, as you've rightly suggested. And I think, when the war started, I call it war, quote unquote, which was needless in the first place. He didn't realize that, yes, monies that had been wasted. There was the demolition of the State House of Assembly. Exactly. There was this, destruction of some other property and all of that, and the protest. And
halt of construction that was ongoing in the state.
Going to court, spending such amount of money and all of that, So I feel it's good now that he's realized his mistake. He still is in between his legs now, as I see. But it's possible that he's also being strategic. That, okay, let's just see how things go on. He had invited the lawmakers who said, no, is that the proper way to invite us in the first place? But it's good that the president is weighing on this, weighing on this, asking them, Pandef precisely, go back home and comply with the judgments of the Supreme Court. And
with
I feel
what the president has done now at Toma, we can call it, peace now in River State, isn't it?
No, we can't call it peace now in River State because Mr. President just gave a piece of advice. Like the one-time president of Nigeria says, yes, I have advisors. Their job is to advise me. And my job is to take or refuse to take that advice. So he has given his advice as the president and the father of the nation. The rest is for us to see.
Indeed, indeed. And we see another story right here on the Nation newspaper. Gas tanker fire under Otedola Bridge causes gridlock. This happened yesterday as well. Yeah. But thankfully, the agency in charge of quelling this ran into action, and they were able to manage this situation, and we didn't have what could have probably become a huge loss of lives and property. And so kudos to them right here. And before we leave, ECOWAS activates 5,000 strong standby force. We'll tell you a bit more about this as we get to the next paper this morning, which would be the Nigerian Tribune. And again, something on politics right here. Supreme Court upholds Ayeda Atiwa's victory, dismisses Ajayi's case. Ibrahim and Etoma, I've always wondered, can't we for once just end the whole drama at the polling unit and go home from there?
Well,
once the winner has been declared.
Unfortunately, you can't stop the aspiration of politicians. Their aspiration, their yearnings and aspiration do not stop at the polling station, but it also spills over after post-election. But this is the pre-election matters, which was declared. I've forgotten the maxim. I mean the legal term that was used, but it's something that is pre-election matter. They're not supposed to take it to court and everything. But now Ayeda Atiwa is now being confirmed as, he had been confirmed, but reaffirmed again as the governor of Ondo State. But it's time to now face, governance rather than having to go to court up and down.
And we're seeing something here on insecurity. Protest rocks Ondo over abduction of another. The word another. So it looks to me, 9 surveyors, it looks to me as though this is a recurring issue of abductions in Ondo State. I mean, this is not, again, we took a story yesterday where I asked what Amoteco is live on ground, and quite a number of other security agencies.
And I told you
such issues.
And I told you that the sad thing is that as far as security is concerned, we are still reactive. We're not proactive. You know, and another shouldn't faze you so much, because it's not only in Ondo State that we're having a reoccurrence of such unfortunate events going on. What I will advise is our security personnel, our security architecture should be more proactive than reactive.
Indeed. And that's a fine place to leave it as we move our way to the next paper this morning, which would be the Daily Independent, would be our next guide. And we see a number of conversations right here as well. But there's something that's really, you know, wonderful to see. IGP reinforces ban on public parade of suspects. I'm thinking this has been a conversation that has been over and over and over and over again. Yeah. Now, the IGP is the head of the police. This is not the first time we're seeing this order issued out. And policemen still flout that law. What should be done?
So it's good that the IGP is now reinforcing it. Recall that August 21st, 2021, that was when the former IGP, Usman Alkali Baba, made that, pronouncement that, listen, we do not have to, because they have to, you have to respect people's, it's based on human rights.
Yeah.
You are innocent until proven guilty. That is the essence. So why do you have to parade someone who is just a suspect? Because the way journalists and some other people run with it. At the end of the day, if you're now declared innocent, that stigma will never leave you.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Indeed. And Nnamdi Kanu court dismisses report of new trial judge stepping down. Kanu had said that he wanted the former judge to step down. Okay, the court obliged. Now the new guy came on board.
And the guy said the case is so dicey that he wouldn't want to mess up with his integrity as a judge, so he's stepping down. And now this development, it gives me the attitude of say, okay, let me wait and see. Let me wait and see what's going to happen.
Indeed. Well, we are looking to hear the last of this Nnamdi Kanu issue at the end of the day. But before we leave this paper, Anambra Guba, it's not easy to take government from an incumbent, Ganduje tells aspirant, APC aspirant. I've always wondered why it is so difficult in our system. It happens once in a while, sparingly, but I've always wondered why it is sometimes difficult to take power from an incumbent governor or president.
As a governor, you are like the emperor of the state. You have all the security, all the parastatals at your beck and call. So it's expected that you have the monies, you have everything to prosecute an election and to maintain your steez.
You will tell me the meaning of that word, steez. Okay.
Let's make our way to the Blueprint newspaper this morning, which is our next. And we see a conversation here on health, something not so nice. 26 die of meningitis in Kebbi as 248 cases recorded. Not a very nice one right here, and we're hoping that the agency involved would have swung into action to court this before it becomes a global, or rather a national pandemic. Exactly. And let's quickly make our way to this Nigeria as we look at a few other issues right here. 68 million poor Nigerians captured in National Social Register. The Rada says mixed reaction trail, 25,000 monthly conditional cash transfer. I'm worried about this figure, 68 million poor.
Yeah.
But it doesn't represent the true picture. Those are the ones that have been captured so far. And I like it because it's as if Nigeria is consciously developing databases for different issues, which will help in criminal investigations as time goes on, and which also shows that planning can be done very well when that issue needs some kind of planning and some kind of intervention.
Indeed.
It is good that this thing is happening.
Indeed. Let's quickly make our way to the Daily Trust, which is our next paper this morning. We see right here, tax reform bills, Reps Committee proposes major changes, drops VAT increase, modifies inheritance tax, sustains funding for TETFund, NITDA, and Nasini. I especially like the TETFund, because there was a confusion at some point that, the funding wouldn't be going to them. And these are the guys who are really helping our tertiary institutions to stand as it has to do with infrastructure. And so sustaining that funding is, for me,
it's very key.
Exactly. And quickly, life expectancy in Nigeria now 54.6 years below global average. Ibrahim Edetoma, I don't care what that expectancy is. I'll be here till my late 90s.
The global life expectancy, I think, is 73.3%, but Nigeria is doing 54.6%. At the point they came up with 56, and there was this disagreement. No, that can't be right. But the interesting thing is that women are expected to even live 6 years longer than men folks. You go to some streets, the only thing you see there is the landladies, the landlords have actually gone. But this speaks to the the serious issues we're facing in the country in terms of economic problems, poverty, and all of that. So there's so much to be done to address this.
We're looking forward to that, so that it can help everyone live as long as you would desire.
As 90, as 95, as you said. Yeah.
So meaning that if you are above 54, according to this data, if you are above 54, maybe you are living an extra life. Is that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but it's a personal choice.
Live longer. Maybe I'll live longer.
Amen to that. Let's quickly make our way to the leadership newspaper this morning, as we see something here on Ukraine backing the U.S. proposal for 30-day ceasefire. Okay, I like that. I like that, so that peace can have its way.
Ukraine actually needs that ceasefire.
Well, indeed, absolutely. And ECOWAS activates standby force against terrorism to tackle trans-border crimes. Defense chiefs meet after Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger's exit. The region came together and said, you know what, so we can stop some of this unnecessary upheavals that is happening militarily, we need to form a force to nip some of those things in the bud. I think this is a way to go.
It's been a conversation that has been on for over 15 years, from what I hear. And President Bola Tinubu has not only reaffirmed it, but has gone a step further to ensure that this happens. Now, the big questions there will be funding, the structure, and so on and so forth. And do remember, it is not going to be, this one that is being put together is not a force that will fight other armies.
Indeed.
It will fight terrorism. So we're not only going to have soldiers there, we're going to have intelligence people there. We're going to have this. So there have to be a balance in the structure.
Well, especially when you have the AES, the Alliance of the Sahelian States, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, exiting the ECOWAS, that might also pose very, very serious challenge, in executing this.
Thank you very much, guys. Let's make our way quickly to the Punch newspaper this morning. And on the Punch, we'll be looking at some conversations around insecurity, anger over herders' deadly attacks in Ondo, Benue, Nasarawa, as 30 persons have been killed. Ondo protest, regent attack government over killings. Benue LG Secretariat Palace raised. Not a good conversation right here in Ondo and Benue and Nasarawa State. But by the way, we had the governor of Nasarawa State yesterday on the show, and on one of our prime programs, and he was talking quite a number of things that he's doing to help the state. So we're looking forward that some of these things would be made evident, or might I say manifest, so that all of our states would witness and experience peace one way or the other. Let's make our way quickly this morning to the Guardian newspaper, as we see something right here that says federal government may scale down concrete road projects over 73% spike in cost. I'm wondering, for instance, the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, which is a major project and will go up quite a number of, money. I'm thinking before either of these projects are launched into action, some kind of an estimate was done, a budget was developed. Is it that something changed in the middle of the road?
There is inflation. Things are not stagnant. Prices are not stagnant. They are actually, very, very dynamic. You know, sometimes you have a plan, and another time, for you to execute a plan, you see that things have actually changed. So, for instance, we are also, you know, repairing some roads in our own estate, and the budget we had, something close to 18 million, now we're talking about 25 million. So how do people get about it, you know? So it's a whole lot of things. So federal government now feeling this,
imagine every other Nigeria.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
If the big boys can feel it, what about the rest? Concrete roads are quite good. They are more durable, and they withstand weather a little bit better than the other one. But the cost right now is just too much.
Yeah, a little bit on the high side. Reps want new ATM charges suspended and pornographic websites banned. About time, really, on that particular one. You know, when I saw that, I said kudos for. But when are we likely to see that get into full activation?
It's going to go through several processes of making it. So it depends on how it scales the first, second reading up until, you know, town hall hearing and all of that. So we'll wait to see. But I can't wait for that to be birthed.
To happen.
I don't think we need any town hall on a pornographic site to be banned. Just ban it.
No, people are against it. There are critics. There are people, paper giants, Twitter giants, you know, saying, no, is that the right thing to do? Why did you focus on the economy? Is that our problem? You know, all of those things. So I don't know. It has to be done.
The Nigerian News Direct is our next paper this morning, and it has that conversation very bolded right there. But Senate is urging INEC to conduct by-elections to fill vacant seats in Edo Central and Anambra South. Indeed, because those areas need to be represented as well. Adeleke unveils 159 billion infrastructure projects amidst some of the wahalas that happened about the local government elections. But now that has come to an end, hopefully. And so we'll wait to see some of the results of that. And quickly, our last paper this morning, gentlemen, the Sporting Life. But before that, I hear Liverpool didn't smile yesterday.
Oh boy. The painful side is that they played the match at home.
Absolutely.
Indeed. But then there's something here. Osimhen always gets my attention anytime he's on the papers. Osimhen carries Galatasaray. Please, what does that mean?
Galatasaray is the name of a football club.
But no, Osimhen has been a guy who has been asked by several clubs to join them. Is this his choice or something?
It all depends on his own, interest. You know, it depends on what because at the end of the day, what's the need for me? Sometimes some of these footballers, they think of, okay, how much are you paying me? Others look at, okay, how is this club going to position me for a better chance in the future? Imagine Ronaldo joining Saudi Arabia, team, and he's doing so well. So it's all about the window is open. All about the transfer window. So people are going in, others are coming out.
It's all about where I see works for me.
Absolutely, as long as it works for him. Yeah,
indeed, and that's how far we can bring the newspaper review for you this morning. We will be continuing with the rest of the program.
No. Still to come on TVC Breakfast, we shall take a closer look at the country's contributing troops to the ECOWAS standby force and their motivations for doing